Good afternoon. As we conclude this year, 2023, during this holidays season, it is a pleasure to sit down with our faculty and staff colleagues and review this year of excellence at scale at our university, Purdue. This is merely a one-slide summary of some of the highlight statistics reflecting excellence by our faculty, staff, and students. For example, we welcomed the most selective incoming undergraduate class at the acceptance rate of 50% based on the highest number of applicants ever. We also achieved the highest six-year graduation rate at 84% ever, and indeed, through 14 sessions across 3 commencement exercises, Purdue University West Lafayette conferred over 13,000 degrees. On the research front, we celebrated the record number of $613 million of external research funding received by our faculty and master and PhD students. In particular, as part of the team led by the state of Indiana, Purdue University, as the leading university partner, won 3 out of 3 national hub competitions this past season, including one that is likely going to be the largest single federal award for Purdue resources in our history. We also are committing $1.3 billion among the 23 projects for physical infrastructure and facilities of those that are completing this year or those that are starting in 2023. On the financial front, while holding tuition frozen and while providing 5% per year back-to-back in 2 years in a row, first time in this century of merit increase average, we're still able to achieve a very sound financial foundation, thanks in part to fundraising a record number in FY23 of $610 million from all the wonderful supporters out there, including on the day of giving in 2023, achieving a historic record of $110 million. We thank all those outstanding philanthropic gifts, and every gift counts. When it comes to state appropriation this year, we received a very generous package approving almost all of our requests for these biannum 2 years period, including a 4% and a 6% increase in the annual operating budget, approving all 4 capital projects and full R&R, the Indianapolis support in one-time and recurrent budget allocation, and also increase in the recurrent budget for both extension and ADDL operations. Now, our reputation as a leading university in the country continues to elevate across all 3 major rankings for U.S. universities: the U.S. News and World Report, which is a bit more on the undergraduate side, the QS and Times Higher Ed global rankings. If we look at the American universities ranked there, and both are a bit more on the graduate and research side, in each of these 3, our university jumped by 7 or 8 spots consistently across all of them this past fall season. While each particular ranking is partial and noised, the fact that we consistently improve in all these rankings and across the metrics sitting behind these rankings is a reflection of the excellent work that you have been carrying out day in and day out. In particular, for the U.S. News, we achieved a record ranking in number 43, and in QS, we were ranked as a top 10 U.S. public university. And this is in addition to many college level, departmental level, and online rankings, as well as being named one of the most innovative companies or nonprofits in the world at number 16 in between OpenAI and NASA. I want to take a moment to highlight how unlikely it has been to win 3 out of 3 national hubs competitions, each running about 10% probability, more or less independent events here at a 0.1 probability, and central to Northwest Indiana as a region and Purdue as a leading university partner are the only ones securing 3 out of 3. Hydrogen Hub from Department of Energy, Microelectronic Commons Hub from Department of Defense, and the Regional Tech Hub, in our case in biopharma manufacturing designation from Department of Commerce. The latter two are also CHIPS and Science Act funding. And winning 3 out of 3 is yet another reflection of excellence at scale of Purdue University across a wide range of topics. And this is a chart perhaps putting the trajectory of our university in these rankings relative to other Big Ten universities. It would be a little too busy of a chart to put all 18 universities or 14 onto a single graph, so we picked a few others. Now, as you can see on the left-hand side, it's the U.S. News, mostly undergrad-driven ranking, and right-hand side is QS, global ranking. We talked about the U.S. part of it, and this is the global version of it, with a combination of undergraduate and graduate research components as well. The graphs are more or less self-explanatory. It's useful to see where we are going, and relative to some other universities, including IU, Ohio State, Michigan, Illinois. Now, we also recognize that we still have ways to go, as always, not only because of a Big Ten competitiveness, but because we always would like to aim higher. For example, in comparison to our Big Ten land-grant public university neighbor next door in Illinois. In the QS ranking, this is the list of the top 10 public universities in our country, and you see our university there. I want to move on to the second portion of this review here, looking at some of the strategic initiatives, not about numbers and statistics, but about directions. As you know, in 2023, we announced 3 major initiatives. Purdue University in Indianapolis, our first comprehensive urban campus, the Daniels School of Business, reimagined School of Business for Purdue, and Purdue Computes, which is a collection of 4 components, expanding and further elevating computing departments' capabilities in response to the market demand for those degrees and majors, Institute of Physical AI, bringing the bytes of artificial intelligence with the atoms of what we grow, what we make, what we move, chips and semiconductors as the foundation for national, economic, and job security in the country, and also quantum science and engineering. Now, in particular, under the chips pillar, the past year, the team have been able to advance education, research innovation, industry partnership, national impact, and like-minded international partnership, ranging from the European headquarters, quote-unquote, in semiconductors, IMEC, opening their R&D center on Purdue campus, to signing the U.S.-Japan semiconductor partnership agreement at G7 Summit in Hiroshima. In addition to our urban campus, officially to start July 1, 2024, and the DSB to become a leading business school, as well as Purdue Computes, all pillars. We also, in collaboration with Purdue Research Foundation, launched Purdue Innovates to help both inventors and entrepreneurs among our faculty staff, our students, and our alum to continue their journey to translate innovation to societal impact. And between Purdue University Online, the online modality version of West Lafayette, and Purdue Global, we are launching Purdue Online 2.0 to make sure that both in quality, reputation, and in quantity, we continue to innovate and lead in online and hybrid learning. And this is the map reflecting the investment not only in those initiatives, but truly across academic, athletic, student life, research, and basic infrastructure across pretty much all schools, colleges, and areas. We know that there's excellence in every part of our campus, and we're here to support every part of it indeed. And this map is just one reflection of the investment that we are making aggressively, in this case, 23 physical facility projects completing in 2023 or starting in that year, totaling $1.3 billion. Moving on to the third and last part of this summary, we'd like to highlight the importance of communications, reaching out, listening to, and working together with every part of our Purdue family, starting, of course, with West Lafayette campus, students, faculty, and staff, but also system-wide campuses and statewide locations, including our regional universities and every one of the 92 counties in our state. I've visited 52 and 40 more to go in 2024. But there are also other partners, including our local Greater Lafayette community, state government and legislature, including Washington, D.C., all the federal agencies, and our own congressional delegation from Indiana, and including like-minded international partners. Then, of course, outstanding alum, parents, donors, fans, foundations, as well as corporate partners and other partners in economic development. Even though this town hall is primarily for faculty and staff colleagues, let's start with student support. For example, at the beginning of the year, the Action Council on Student Housing and Wellbeing was created with participation by student leaders, parents, staff, faculty, and throughout the administration. Now, at the end of the year, we have approved 2 new student dorms, adding 1,900 beds to university residence and on-campus housing capacity to meet the rising demand. We also recognize the importance of mental health in student well-being, and by providing additional budget and staffing, CAPS for the first time is fully staffed for both undergraduate and graduate students' needs. Based on your input collected last month in pedestrian safety on campus, we will also take further actions. In terms of facilities for our students, we've had the groundbreaking ceremony for nursing and pharmacy education building, knowing that this will be one of the most impactful facilities for research, education, and engagement missions. The new building for the Daniel School of Business is moving forward, so is the renovation for University Hall for College of Liberal Arts. Phenotyping greenhouse facility is going through its construction for agriculture and for those students working on hypersonics from engineering or science or PPI, the Hypersonic Applied Research Facility is now open. Equally important is the agility through which we provide a world-class education to all of our students, including not only teaching AI, but also using AI in teaching and learning throughout campus. A draft has been developed in collaboration with Senate committees and with input from many, and it is in circulation for further campus-wide input before we issue this AI guardrail and guidelines on how best to make use of AI in teaching and learning at the beginning of the semester. At the same time, we have substantially streamlined the process through which new degrees and credentials and pilot courses can be offered. Moving on to support for our faculty colleagues. Since January of 23, we have issued 5 rounds, collectively over 20 new programs to support academic and research excellence by our faculty colleagues. including update on the salary policy, procurement of a major software upgrade to our system, fully staffing sponsored program services, and providing many additional incentives and rewards, knowing the extreme importance of recruiting, rewarding, and retaining the best faculty talent for the future of this university. And we thank you, all the faculty colleagues, for your outstanding contribution each day. We also created the Purdue Innovates program to provide support to inventors and entrepreneurs. We're proud to be among the U.S. universities top 4 in patent generation in terms of 2022 numbers, and looks like 23 numbers will be even better. In particular, the patents from Professor Fulau and those from Professor Emeritus James Cooper have had outstanding landmark licensing and litigation results this year. And one of our many student startups, Adrenos, for example, was also acquired this year. We're proud to recruit many great colleagues, and the list is indeed very long. I'll just simply highlight among the leadership at the university, Professor Bullard, now the Dean of DSP, and Professor Lewis, who is now the CEO of Perry, were recruited this year. And our list of current faculty's major national international awards runs even longer. At every Board of Trustees meeting, I highlight the list of such awards. Many hundreds have been highlighted and announced through the past 6 Board of Trustees meetings. I'll simply highlight that Professor Ejita has received the National Medal of Science, bringing the total number of national medals since 1969 to Purdue faculty and alum to 19 now. Professor Sutherland was elected to the National Academy of Engineering, and Professor Spafford elected to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. And we thank all the great colleagues for bringing all the major awards in your respective fields over the past year. Now, we are also a community of scholars and curious minds. Over the past year, we've had many great presidential lectures and also 8 Westwood lectures featuring our own colleagues across many departments and many different colleges. And this continues into the new year. We've had a very important summit among our faculty this past fall, Life and Health Sciences. And this will be a major strategic direction in the coming years. We've held a Silicon Summit, both on campus and in Washington, D.C., in the Senate building, and a manufacturing summit, all of which bring together a public sector, private sector, and educational institutions convened by Purdue. For our amazing staff, we thank you. You're often the unsung heroes and heroines that make this a place be the one that is excellent at scale. And in recognition of that, in addition to the 5% merit pool back-to-back in 2 years, we launched an expanded version of Bravo Plus to provide awards and recognitions to outstanding staff colleagues with more mechanisms to come, in addition to career advancement opportunities and health insurance premium being frozen yet again. We're now seeing a reduced turnover rate and increased staff headcount across many parts of campus. We're also delighted to have had the chance to offer multiple new family-friendly events, including Easter egg hunt at Westwood, the Women Basketball Watch earlier this week in Mackey Arena, and other family events whereby we thank not only the staff, but also your families for their support. We've got amazing Boilermaker alum and fans throughout the country. And I've had the pleasure to meet many thousands of them in person this past year across 10 cities with alumni visits. Yes, Indianapolis and Chicago, but also in Bay Area, in Houston, in Washington, D.C., Naples and Sarasota, and all the way to Tokyo, Seoul, Mumbai, Athens, and in the new year, many more cities to come to engage with our Boilermaker alum. Of course, we've had a great homecoming weekend. We've also added a new theme-based alumni reunion feature every year now. And the first pilot year, the theme was entrepreneurship. In future years, the theme will rotate. We're proud of our student athletes. We're proud of their ability to compete both academically and athletically. And our Boiler teams are truly amazing students and athletes at the same time. And let me not forget to highlight, at the time of this particular recording and day, we still are #1 in men's basketball in America. Discovery Park District continues to grow with partnerships ranging from those already here and new ones. We welcomed many additional companies, including Stratolaunch in aerospace, MediaTek in electronics, Ericsson in telecom, and Southern Airways. Greater Lafayette is the community, and the town-gown relationship is more important than ever before. We are very fortunate to have an outstanding community in Greater Lafayette. And one way to contribute out of many is the United Way. And this year, we elevated the stated goal to be back to pre-pandemic level. And for the first time in a few years now, we were able to, with your help, reach that elevated goal indeed. This might be the last slide, but it is not the least at all. Purdue is proud to be Indiana's public land-grant institution and a public university in our country, the United States of America. And this year, we launched the ABCD program to serve to the fullest extent our land-grant mission. A for airport, B for broadband, C for corridor, and D, Purdue at DC. As you know by now, that we've had 3 rounds of updates to our airport, first with FAA's funding, improving the runway, then with both ready support from our neighbors and the state, and Lilly Endowment support to build a new terminal, which, with the approval of Board of Trustees, based on their vote at the next meeting, we hope to be able, at that time, to call it the Amelia Earhart Terminal at Purdue University Airport. And now we're delighted to announce that in partnership with Southern Airways Express, we will resume, after 20 years, commercial passenger airline services to our university airport, America's first in 1930. And not only there will be more destinations to come in addition to Concourse F of O'Hare Airport, this will connect to Purdue Flies. Think about the benefits to our students in related disciplines. Think about the heritage going from Amelia Earhart teaching at this airport to the future of modern air mobility, and think about the impact this will have to the future job creation, economic growth, and shared prosperity in Greater Lafayette. On broadband, thanks to the leadership from the governor's office, now our state is looking at how to use state and federal resources. This year, the state received $800 million plus incoming federal support to make sure that the digital divide will not long sustain in our state. And we have many counties that I visited, and including a few surrounding us, that are still in need of a broadband connectivity to many parts of their neighborhoods. Purdue, through engagement office and all the extension offices, have mobilized hundreds of our extension colleagues to work with our neighbors to update their speed test and address in the federal FCC map so that these resources will be invested in the most useful, impactful way to them. Now, this hard tech corridor connecting our two campuses, Purdue University in Indianapolis and West Lafayette, will be a vibrant corridor to generate jobs, workforce, and innovation together, especially in what we call hard tech, things that we do so well in the Midwest, at the crossroads of America, including transportation, aerospace, digital agriculture, biopharmaceutical manufacturing, and microelectronics. Now, in addition to this A, B, and C, we also launched a center in Washington, D.C. Purdue at D.C. is going to bring our specialties in national security and tech diplomacy in C-SPAN archive and small modular reactor for the future of energy sustainability, and many more to the nation's capital. At the end of the day, however, when we look around our own neighbors, we recognize the importance of housing, transportation, healthcare, and childcare, including early childhood education, and the impact to our ability to attract and retain the best talent. And we're grateful for Lilly Endowment's recent announcement of approving our proposal on behalf of 7-county region, including our own, of a $25 million 5-year grant to support, in particular, childcare and early childhood education. In our own very neighborhood here, we know an even brighter future lies ahead. And I want to thank all the partners, alum, friends, and all the faculty, staff, and students for giving our University, Purdue, the most smooth, successful, and strategic 2023. And here's a boiler up to 2024.